Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Welcome again to Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki. And on Street Talk, we deal with political, social, and economics here in Michigan, the U.S., and abroad. Now, joining me tonight,
Dennis Burnside.
we got so much to talk about. I just want to mention the fires in California. The fires is running wild, and the rapist president trying his best to get it where people to be looking at the governor and the people around him, faulting them,
Politicizing.
Yeah. No. This is supposed to be the president of everybody, and here he's before he even take office, he's criticizing him.
Well, he's president of the Confederacy
Mm-hmm.
and then Northern sympathizers.
Yeah.
And, the poorly educated, the working class who won't read,
Mm-hmm.
who don't vote for their own interests. And, there's been books now for decades now talking, one was What's the Matter with Kansas, talking about why working class whites vote against economic interests. I'm no longer interested in that conversation because I think what they get out of it is confirmation that one trump card they have in life.
Mm-hmm.
They may not have much money. The job may not be all that good. The house may not be all that good. The children may not be doing all that well, but at least they're white.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got that going with Trump.
Yeah.
But, the right-wing media has done such a good job of politicizing this thing with the help, under the direction of Trump, that even some of the left wing or objective media, supposedly objective media, is now starting to ask questions like, should Mayor Bass have gone overseas before the fire started? Oh, she's psychic.
Yeah.
She's supposed to know there's
Yeah.
a fire coming,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, even my sister called me up and asked me what did I think about them trying to blame this on the mayor and the governor and all this kind of stuff. And I said, you know what? Honestly, I read reporting. I no longer read or listen to too much commentary.
Right.
Because what they're trying to do, and if you're not careful, is shape your opinion and take your eyes off the ball. It's like that thing with the dog that's supposed to be guarding the house,
Yeah.
but he gets distracted by a squirrel. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the cause. Now, one of the questions she asked me was, what do I think the cause was? Because this is such a huge fire. This isn't normal. It never happened before.
Right.
And I said, well, are you sure it's never happened? Because we had the Paradise Fire in L.A. 3-4 years ago at the most, maybe
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
It was bigger than
Yeah.
this current fire. Killed over almost 200 people, wiped out an entire community. That just happened. That was bigger. In fact, this is the 5th largest in California history. As big as it is, it's not unprecedented. We had the fire in Canada that went on for so long
Oh, yeah.
that it caused smoky and hazy days and warnings for people with pulmonary problems from the Midwest all the way to the East Coast.
Yeah.
That fire burned up more land than the state of Texas. And I'm supposed to forget about that and say this is the mayor's fault? Then you got the fires that are going on in the Amazon right now, in the rainforest,
Yeah.
that are still going on.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
been burning
Yeah.
for over
Yeah.
a year now.
Yeah.
You're talking about 26 million acres of rainforest have been destroyed.
Yeah.
Now, some of that's deforestation, but that leads directly to the climate change
Yeah.
problem. So what we have is what scientists have been predicting from the start. When climate change or global warming was first identified in the 90s, even the late 80s, is a problem that was to come. They said we were going to have huge hurricanes. We were going to have tornadoes. We were going to have winter storms that were more powerful, and we were going to have wildfires that were difficult to control. They said this 30-something years ago, and now that it's here, and it's happening as the scientists said it was, we're supposed to look for whether or not Mayor Bass had enough firefighters deployed. We're supposed to look at whether or not she should have been overseas. We're supposed to look at whether or not Governor Newsom in California allocated enough resources to the water. All those things are like arguing whether or not the oars on the Titanic lifeboats are up to specifications because the Titanic's going down. Let's talk about the Titanic going down. Let's talk about climate change disasters, which is what we're dealing with here, and look at that as the real root cause of all this. And the last thing I'll say with this on this topic is you have two oligarchs, the Resnicks, husband and wife team, who somehow negotiated that they now own, you want to hear this? 60% of the fresh water of California. Not just the LA area.
60%.
60% of all the water in California they own. And what the rest of the municipalities use is water that they sell back to them. Now, how did they get this water? Well, all the infrastructure, the levees, the dams, the reservoirs, et cetera, that was all built with hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money. But they went into one of these little meetings that the oligarchs have, and they negotiated, and they walk out of this meeting, and they've got access to 60% of the water in California. Now, access to water in and of itself is not a root cause of this fire.
Right.
And it would be unfair. I'd be a Republican if I wanted to just point blame to a human being. But the fact that we have to pay for that water twice is something that ought to outrage everyone. You know, so they get their pomegranate juice and their pistachios and the avocados, and they get that with us subsidizing it. And then we have to buy back the water from them to fight the fire. And here's the last thing I'll say on this. Fox News went to California to try to blame this on Democratic politicians. And they were told, no, this is pretty much just a matter of availability of infrastructure, of human capital, firefighters to get there, and the natural physics of moving water from point A to point B to get to point C to fire this out. And then last night on 60 Minutes, they had an interview with a administrator from the fire department, and he said that if you wanted to have enough fire trucks here, say we could magically allocate all the fire trucks we needed to fight this fire, we would need 26,000 fire trucks and then the water that they carry to battle this flame. He said there aren't 26,000 fire trucks in California.
Right.
So what the hell do you expect the mayor or the governor to do when you've been warned about climate change and carbon release into the atmosphere by burning fossil fuels? But what do we hear from the GOP? Burn. I mean, drill, baby, drill. They took the Panthers and the black nationalist mantra from the 60s, which was burn, baby, burn. We don't get justice. And they turned it into drill, baby, drill. And so when you drill, baby, drill, this is what you get. You get the snowstorms, you get the hurricanes, you get the tornadoes, and you get the wildfires. And then they're going to turn around and dupe their low information voters into thinking that somehow, if the Democrats were more competent, like the Fuhrer, Trump, then these wildfires wouldn't happen. It's so patently stupid. It's frustrating.
You know, and it's just, man. You see this rapist running around here, man, and just saying things, and not any of it's not any truth in it. You know, he just blabbered it out and then got millions like, oh yeah. You know, and it just really, man, goes back to me when I left Vietnam and was back here about a year or so. right then I started studying, man. But I figured out then this is one of the worst countries it is because the people in it, a lot of the people in it think they know so much.
Arrogant.
Yeah.
Very arrogant
Yeah.
people. Very arrogant people. So if you look at our culture now, I mean, you had people who said that when I came to the United States in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, I thought it was such a magnificent, amazing country with
Yeah.
its infrastructure and its technology and its buildings
Mhm.
and its education system. He said, now people around the world look at the United States and they look at debauchery.
Yeah.
You know, you go online and you can order anything from a parlay on a gambling debt
Yeah.
to prostitution
Yeah.
to cheap, poor food
Yeah.
to just some of the worst education
Yeah.
you can get in the world.
Yep.
You know, all these people, we're the best in the world.
Yeah.
We rank somewhere around 50th in the world
Yeah.
in terms of our education for
Yeah.
our young people.
Yeah.
Not among just developed nations. I'm not talking about Western nations and modern nations, which have access to the tools that you need to provide a quality education.
Yeah.
I'm talking about all countries.
Yeah.
You're starting to see people who come from undeveloped so-called third world countries who are better developed, who are better educated than our people.
Yeah.
Which leads me to the next topic I want to bring up to you. You've got this feud going on between the Trumpanzees, who, you know, the Steve Bannon arm,
Yeah.
who are xenophobic, don't want any immigrants in here. They see all these jobs going to people who don't look like them, and they're upset. And one of the reasons why they got behind Trump was going to do something about immigration
Yeah.
and stop all these people who don't look like
Right.
them from coming to the country taking their good
Yeah.
jobs. And then in the last 3-4 weeks, we've had Vivek Ramaswamy and Leon Musk
Oh man.
talking about we want to bring in HB1 visas because we need to bring in people who have good education and good work
Yeah,
ethic
yeah.
and were raised to be engineers. They
Yeah.
weren't raised to be homecoming queens
Right,
and
right.
quarterbacks and play ball all day. In other words, you Americans are too dumb to
Yeah.
come in here. And man, it started a feud. And if you don't mind, I just want to real quickly read you what Steve Bannon had to say about this feud that he's having with the right, and you know it's really demonstrative of racists fighting xenophobes over assets that should be utilized by Americans based on the quality education which we no longer have.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm just going to read you this quote real quick. This is Steve Bannon. He says, I will have Elon Musk run out of here by Inauguration Day. He will not have a blue pass to the White House. He will not have full access to the White House. He will be like any other person. This is where it gets good. He is truly an evil guy, a very bad guy. I made it my personal thing to take this guy down. Before, because he put money in, I was prepared to tolerate it. I'm not prepared to tolerate it anymore. Bannon is specifically talking about the H-1B visas. And then he goes on to say, the thing of the H-1B visas, it's about the entire immigration system is gained by the tech overlords. They use it for their advantage, and the people are furious, the people. 76% of engineers working in Silicon Valley are non-Americans. No black people, no Hispanics have any of these jobs or access to these jobs. You know, Bannon is concerned about racial equity now.
Right.
Then he goes on to say Peter Thiel, David Sachs, Elon Musk are all white South Africans. He should go back to South Africa. Why do we have South Africans, the most racist people on earth, white South Africans? We have them making any comments at all on what goes on in the United States. We have been fighting this fight for 10 years. We're going to expose the entire corruption of American system of how money controls everything, and hopefully we'll inspire you in Italy to wake up. Now he's talking to a newspaper in Italy. This is Steve Bannon. Now Steve Bannon one of the most avowed racists of the first Trump
Yeah.
administration, who went to jail for Trump,
Yeah.
is now out here talking about racial justice
Yeah.
because you've got Musk, who is an apartheid guy.
Yeah. Oh,
You know, Project 2025 is right up his alley.
Yeah.
Peter Thiel, right up his alley.
Yeah.
But you've got him talking about all they want to do is bring in these non-whites to take these jobs
Yeah.
that should be going to us good, clean, kind
Yeah.
white folks.
Yep. Mhm.
And he's
Yeah.
ticked off
Now
about
he's
it.
upset.
So now Trump's trying to mitigate this fight between his money bag and his SS or SA commander of the troops on
Yeah.
the ground,
Mhm.
and it's turning into a huge fight. But it just goes to show, man, they have no intention of governing for
Oh,
the
no.
people.
No.
It's all about them chopping up
Yeah.
the scarce resources among
Yeah.
themselves.
You know, and we got millions out here, man, who are thinking Trump going to make things better. You know, this rapist going to make things better for him, and it ain't about that with this him and this administration. He's trying to make all the money he can, and this other old guy is going to be looking at things, giving the orders for him. You know.
Yeah, he's
Musk.
well, he wants Musk to. Musk is being undercut right now. And if Musk is undercut by the Steve Bannons of the world, it's going to be real interesting to see what kind of direction this administration goes in. Because if it's bifurcated, if you've got a right wing that wants to go this way and a right wing that wants to go that way, somebody's ultimately going to have to drive that car. And it's real interesting to see which way it's going to go. You've got a situation where Trump has really painted himself into a corner here.
Mm-hmm.
He's even got some members of the Supreme Court who Amy Comey Barrett and Roberts, who voted against him on a recent decision about whether or not he should be sentenced.
Yeah, Friday. That was Friday.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I think that the next 4 years are going to be nightmare years. I think we're going to start seeing it immediately on January 21st. Just the thuggery and the outlandish behavior that we're going to see out of Trump personally and out of his administration. It's going to be a nightmare. But for some people, they need to suffer. They need to get to the point when you see that they're throwing off people who pick our lettuce and tomatoes and onions, who hammer the nails into our construction, who go to the slaughterhouses and take these dirty, dangerous, low-paying jobs and make sure that when we go to the grocery store in the morning, there's a pack of bacon there for them. Well, all that's upset, and the prices are starting to skyrocket.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to sit back there as I eat my oatmeal for 3 meals, and I'm going to say, you know what, this is what you wanted. This is what you asked for.
Yeah.
When they start throwing off people out of the government by the tens of thousands because they say they want to get rid of the bureaucratic class, and that portion of the economy is crippled and things start to freeze up. This is what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
You didn't want your food. You didn't want the building trades. You didn't want the agricultural segment to work the way it is now because there's too many immigrants.
Yeah.
So go hungry.
Yeah.
When you start getting to the point where the infrastructure is starting to seize up, when you have power blackouts, when you have the inability of government to do just the basic things like provide services that people take for granted, when those things go away, who are you going to blame then?
Yeah. You know,
Of course, they'll reach back somehow and retroactively blame Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, and Michelle Obama, who's a militant man.
Yeah.
And they'll come up with some silly crap, and they'll put it on Fox News.
Yeah.
And these low IQ, low information people will buy it.
Oh, yeah.
But in their heart, they know.
Yeah.
That's what you ask for.
Yeah. And the thing about it, man, you know, I've talked to a few people, man, and it's just ridiculous, man, how some of them are thinking, man. or I'm gonna have a he gonna make better job. It's like I'm waiting, and I'll be waiting when I know this 4 years up. All during the time he was running for president, he didn't mention one time about jobs and nothing like that. The man ain't talked about anything but
Himself, mainly.
that's all, you know.
And you're coming off an economy that even the most jaded conservative economists are saying this is almost a perfect economy
Yeah.
Trump is inheriting.
Yeah.
This is probably the best economy we've had since World War II.
Yes.
And what Trump is going to do with another round of tax cuts, you know
Yeah.
they're going to come.
Mhm, yeah.
You know they're going to come.
Yeah.
What he's going to do with mass layoffs of the administrative state,
Mhm.
you know, the people who process the Medicare
Yep.
bills,
Mhm.
a very efficiently run healthcare
Yep.
program
Mhm.
where about 6% of the cost of Medicaid premiums goes to administration,
Mhm.
which means processing paperwork, means paying for the people who work there,
Yep.
which means buying the hardware, the computers, et cetera, that they use. About 6% of that's used. The rest of it goes to pay out the claims, as opposed to privatized insurance,
Yep.
United Health,
Yep.
you know, where the CEO, Brian Thompson, was shot to death back in December
Mhm.
because there's a anger in the nation because of that. When we start seeing what their costs are, you know, we're talking 40, 50, 60% of everything you pay into your premium goes to paying for their private jets.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Their bonuses, their salaries,
Yeah.
their golden parachutes.
Yeah.
That's where that money
Yeah.
goes. And how do they make that money? That golden parachute, that big salary, that private jet, et cetera, et cetera. It's just simply by denying claims.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just simply by,
Yeah.
you've got brain cancer. Well, there's no point in us approving this surgery for your eyes.
Yeah.
You're gonna be dead pretty soon
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
You know, they do this kind of callous
Yes.
thing,
Yeah.
and people vote for it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then they can't connect the dots between their vote and the way they're treated because they're too busy watching Fox News,
Yeah.
which gives them just that delicious brew of racism
Oh, yeah.
and xenophobia
Yeah.
And misogyny.
Mhm.
They just can't get enough of.
No, no, you know, and it's just really sad how many people are out here and think they know something about the administration that's coming in, and they don't, you know, because
Well, you know what, man? I'm going to give the listeners the same advice I gave my dear sister just last week. Stop listening to people who tell you what to think.
yeah,
And it's subtle.
mm-hmm,
They won't say, you ought to have this opinion about that.
Mhm.
They'll just raise up non sequiturs
Yep.
as issues when we know that has nothing to do with the topic at hand. Like Mayor Bass went to Ghana in the days leading up to the fire. What's that got to do
Yeah.
with the fire?
right,
Well,
trying,
let's say she's psychic, and she knew these fires were
yeah,
going to occur.
yeah.
So she stayed back in L.A.
yeah,
What was she gonna do? Play Super Negro Woman and
Yeah.
fly through the air and
Yeah.
put out the fire
yeah,
by herself?
yeah, yeah, you know,
You know, we don't mitigate the climate change that's causing it.
no,
We privatize our infrastructure, sell it off to these billionaires so they can control the water and make it more costly.
yeah,
But we don't talk about that.
oh no,
We
no.
look at whether or not Gavin Newsom should have done something differently.
Yeah,
And Trump, who can't run a children's cancer charity anymore because he stole from it,
yep,
who his incompetence is legendary.
mm-hmm,
Sleep all afternoon, or sleep all morning till 11 o'clock,
Yeah.
and he's up all
Yeah.
night. And then it just comes out and says the most stupid
Yeah.
things. We're going to name it the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
We're going to adopt Canada as the 51st state.
Yeah.
We're going to buy Greenland.
Yeah.
We're going to take that over.
Yeah.
Man, you know, you talking all that crap,
Yeah.
and you got the media chasing you around. Squirrel,
Yeah.
squirrel, squirrel.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the real issues over here
yeah,
that we need to deal with
yeah,
are being ignored because when Biden leaves, they'll just fall off the plate.
yeah. And the thing is that this man, he will get up lying because he want to be in the news all day.
Attention seeker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he don't care what it is. He gonna lie about it.
Yeah.
You know, just so he can be in the news every day.
Yeah. Mary Trump, his niece, wrote a book. I forget the name of it now. I read it 3-4 years ago, and it detailed how he was raised. And he had a loveless, cold family environment that he grew up on, where his father would come home and they would have to wear their suits and ties or their dresses and sit at the table and have their dinner served. And then they would, after dinner, they would be dismissed to whatever activity they were going to do within the house. And their mother went, because their mother was always in health, Trump's mother, and his father was always working and ignored him. So he had a dysfunctional family. And if you look at how he has acted in the public spotlight since he became a public figure, it's always like, me, look at me, pay attention to me, watch me, look at me, watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Because according to his niece, he didn't get it at home.
Yeah.
He didn't get the attention and love that a child needs to develop a healthy idea of who they are.
Yeah. How much more time we got?
4 minutes.
What? See, I've been thinking what he was saying 5, 6, 7 months before the election come. And a lot of people, I talk to, and, but the man is going to try. He's going to try to stay president as long as possible. He's not thinking in these 4 years, he's going to try to prolong his being the president.
Yeah, it would take taking away a constitutional amendment that was passed back when Roosevelt was president. I forget if it was the 21st, but there's a constitutional amendment that says you can only serve 2 terms. And I think what he would try to argue is that means 2 consecutive. But I didn't run 2 consecutive. I've only had the one back then, so this is my second one. I get another one after this. And and he's got enough, Clarence, Kuhn and Thomas and some others, Alito, they would back that argument. I think there's 2 problems with that. I think he's one French fry away from a major stroke. He's one more Big Mac away from a heart attack. The man's in poor health.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to last through this 4 years just because of how poorly he takes care of himself. I also think, though, that the oligarchs, the money people who really are the power behind Trump, not these yahoos who watch Fox News and get geeked up and ride and fly the flags.
Right.
I think they're looking at this thinking this is ideal, because when Trump's gone, we can have a great big state funeral, and we can have 7 days of mourning, and we'll get everybody out to talk about how great of a president he is, and we'll add him to Mount Rushmore, and they'll come up with all this crazy stuff. But meanwhile, they'll be going to junior varsity Vance saying, all right, man, it's your show. And here's what we want out of you. And Vance is a much more articulate, much more intelligent, not that he's an intellectual,
Right.
but relative to Trump.
Yeah.
He's like a high school varsity athlete
Right.
compared to a 7th grader to Trump.
Right.
Much more able to convey the message and comprehend the marching orders. So I think they're looking at that as ideal. And if Vance can't get it done, we'll find somebody else, because now we've got it set up with the corrupt, servile Supreme Court that anything a president does in his official duty as president is legal.
Yeah.
So we can make it so that we never have to give up power.
Right.
So I don't think it matters much if it's Trump or not. I think it's just one of these Trumpanzines, one of these people who come from Trump's ideology that's going to carry on the banner and make it very dangerous for us all.
Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.